Are all Dusties created equal? Stick around to find out while I review a bottle from the 70s. Welcome back or welcome to the channel. If it's your first time checking in here, I appreciate it. My name is Austin. If you could please like, comment, subscribe. Every channel says it, I get it. Pretty please do that. It helps me greatly, especially being a really small channel. So today I'm going to be reviewing a really old bottle from the 70s. This is a half-gallon bottle from Medley. This is Medley USA Bourbon. VO says rich and mild. It's coming in at 86 proof. It's distilled by Medley Distilling. I'll throw that up there, but I'll take some B-roll of this too. So I have a ton of Dusty bottles, and I have a friend, Billy. He's been on the channel before. He really has gotten into Dusty bottles. One of the earlier reviews I did was a pre-Fire Heaven Hill bottle, and I actually, it was an old Ezra 15 year, and I compared it to Way Down the Mountain 25 year, which Way Down the Mountain is a newer release. And then that old Ezra 15 was from the 90s. When doing a little bit of research and looking into it, it's got Owensboro, Kentucky on here, just like this does. And it's regarded as being Medley sourced, not pre-Fire Heaven Hill. So I made a mistake on that. And so that label, the old Ezra, try not to get off on a tangent too much here, that changed from like Hoffman, old Hoffman Distillery, to Medley, and then pre-Fire Heaven Hill. And so when it was, the one that I reviewed was actually a Medley, not a pre-Fire Heaven Hill. And I really liked it. It was one of my favorite Dusties that I've had up until that point. And so when I saw this bottle reasonably priced on secondary, I grabbed it. And to see if this Medley is similar or comparable to that bottle from the 90s. Oh man, I can smell it coming out off the glass already. So the big question is like, what makes Dusty different than modern day stuff? Some people will say early to mid to even like 2010 through 2015. Some people will call those Dusties. Some people will say 90s, 80s, 70s. Really, we're just talking about whiskey that came out a long time ago. Certainly out of whatever modern era you want to define it. Some of the really notable ones are Wild Turkey. Wild Turkey Dusties have a really good reputation. Pre-Fire Heaven Hill. So stuff that Heaven Hill was making before the 1996 fire, and they transferred to the old Bernheim distillery in 98, a couple years later. So pre-Fire Heaven Hill, that's what that's referring to. Pre-Fire Heaven Hill, Wild Turkey, the old National Distiller stuff, like the old Grandad 114s, all are really highly regarded. And it seems like people who are really into Dusties also kind of put Medley up there as well as being, you know, really good stuff. So what makes it so different? There's a lot of debate on whether it's the trees at the time, the climate, the trees, the oak, how long the oak was seasoned for before bottling it. Some people say the stuff that went into the bottle is a lot older because there wasn't the bourbon boom at the time. I think there's a variety of factors that kind of go into it. And honestly, probably even sitting in the glass for that amount of time probably has some kind of effect. I'm not talking about aging it longer. It's not making it, it's not getting more oak influence or anything like that. But I mean, it's been sitting in the bottle for 30, 40, 50 years. So it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility to me to think that maybe the chemical composition kind of changes a little bit over time, possibly. So it's kind of a little bit about Dusties in general. One of the biggest things that people often say when they refer to a Dusty is they say, oh, it has that dusty quality. And to me, it's kind of like this perfume kind of note. On the palate, it's often a like butterscotch, really rich, viscous quality to it that the modern stuff just doesn't have. And so, I don't know, I haven't done a Dusty review in a long time. I would like to do more of them more frequently because I do have quite a few. It's just trying to figure out how I'm going to incorporate all of that into videos. Am I going to do them different eras of Wild Turkey? Am I going to do different eras of Heaven Hill? Am I going to do just one bottle at a time? I don't know what I'm going to do with all that yet. But this is likely going to be a one-off, so I'm going to go with this Medley 86 proof, rich and mild VO Medley bourbon. So, as I said, I poured it. I could smell it immediately. And it's that dusty note. It's that vintage, library, perfume, butterscotch, kind of funky oak. It just comes screaming out of the glass here. And at 86 proof, that's really surprising to me. The color is not exceptionally dark, you know, but it has so much character. Okay, so yeah, the vintage funk, that perfume note, that kind of library note, or like grandma's attic. And then I am getting kind of like a mellow, creamy vanilla kind of thing going on too. Man, that's excellent. Some of the other dusties I've had, they're a little bit more prominent with the funk. There's a hint of that, but I would say this one is more well balanced. It's vanilla, it's butterscotch. An off note that I get sometimes is almost like a metallic note, and this doesn't have that, which is really, really nice. I'm glad that it doesn't have that. Yeah, kind of like a floral component a little bit too. This drink's like a modern day 90 to 94 proof. For being 86, it's so viscous and coating, and that dark caramel, that butterscotch is so prominent. I mean, it says rich and mild. I don't think it's that mild for 86 proof. It is certainly rich for 86 proof. That's fantastic. That's really good. On the secondary markets, I haven't seen this one pop up too many times. It was reasonably priced, a couple $100, I think, for a big boy, a 1.89 liter. I'm very pleased with that. I'm happy with that. This would be perfect if you're gonna have a bunch of dusties, or if you're gonna have a night of some like really special pours. This would be a perfect one to start the night off with, being that it is lower proof, but it's so rich for that low proof that it'd be a good one to start off with. Or if you're not having other pours, you know, like after dinner, this would be a great one to have after dinner, just kind of as a nightcap. Yeah, I don't know what makes it, I kind of covered that before, what makes it so different than modern stuff. The whole like bourbon glut, when people were going into vodka and they're going into clear distilled spirits, they weren't looking for bourbon or whiskey like in the 70s and 80s, that they were just able to put out better quality. I almost think that there is something unique about it. It's not just that there's older stuff. For example, you could have like the Heaven Hill 17 year. That drink's different, even though it's 17 years old and older. Some of the stuff that went into that bottle. You could have a younger age stated product from an earlier time period, early 2000s, 90s, from Heaven Hill, and it would be, they just drink so different. So I don't necessarily think that it's older juice that goes into the bottle that makes it a dusty. I think there is a quality, and I don't know if that comes with from being in the bottle for so long, that maybe the chemical compounds change or whatever, or if it was just a different period in time. Because I mean, this smells and tastes like, and everything about this feels like a different time era. If you want to see more dusties, comment in that, comment in the video, let me know, so I'll know to keep doing these. I really enjoy them, so I will continue to do Dusties, but whether I throw a 3 or 4 or 5 or do like one big Dusty video, or whether I do more individualized videos, I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. So any comments or feedback on that would be helpful, because I do have quite a few, but I have so many other bottles that I'm trying to get to review, and other blinds and stuff too. So trying to figure out where I want to fit this in as far as the channel goes. But other than that, I mean, this is great. This is beautiful. Oh, I guess I'll cover a little bit about Medley. I mentioned Medley a lot. I'm going to read off my phone because I didn't feel like memorizing it. Back in the early 1800s, John Medley the Sixth started distilling whiskey on the farm. And then after Prohibition, Thomas Aquinas Medley began distilling and selling unaged spirits after the 21st Amendment, so the ending of Prohibition in 1933. And then eventually building up aged bourbon reserves. I'm going to jump to the 60s through the 90s because that's this realm. Charles Medley worked at the distillery and it was sold a few times, but Charles remained as master distiller, even when he purchased it back in 1995, changing the name to Charles Medley Distillery. And present, Charles' son, Sam Medley, co-owns and operates the business, with Charles still involved in quality control. And then in 2020, the Green River Distilling Company was revived. So I'm thinking the Green River was an old label that fell under Medley back in the day, and then when they brought Green River back, you know, sourced by Bardstown and stuff like that. But I'm guessing that name initially was a Medley brand. But yeah, so there's just a quick little down and dirty AI generated Medley history. And yeah, that's where I'm leaving this. This one was fun. Nice kind of quick down and dirty Dusty review. I do know that I have a couple one-offs of Dusties that I'll be doing at some point here in the near future, but that's where I'm wrapping this up. As always, Bourbon Experience, all about good pours, great times with whoever you're with. Whiskey meant to be enjoyed, so crack those bottles. Cheers. So rich. There's like a cognac note too. Like a little bit of a cognac. That's common with Dusties.